May I come in, sir?
Yes, please do.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Please take your seat.
Thank you, sir.
You are Mr. Shantanu Kumar Thakur.
Yes, sir.
Shantanu, are you comfortable with English as your preferred medium?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I am comfortable with English.
And you're vaccinated?
Yes, sir. I am vaccinated.
Both those?
Yes, sir.
You're not having any symptoms right now?
No, sir. I am not having any symptoms.
Then I'll advise you to remove your mask.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Comfortable?
Yes, sir.
Shantanu, to begin with, please introduce yourself to the board in a manner that your name is not repeated, your caste, your identity markers are not mentioned, and still we come to know something about you.
Sir, I completed my primary and secondary education from Bihar School Examination Board. Thereafter, I went to Banaras Hindu University to complete my graduation. I completed my graduation in 2018 in French language and literature. My hobbies are doing meditation and traveling.
You went to BHU
Yes,
to
sir.
study French.
French language and literature.
And why this sudden love for France?
Sir, in fact, I come from a rural background, and when I completed my intermediate, then I wanted to choose a course of completion. Sorry, sir. So after completing which I can get a job. So I read somewhere that after completing graduation or in foreign language, one can get job. So therefore, I choose French language and
But
literature.
Shantanu, considering that you studied from a Bihar board itself,
Yes, sir.
which is not really particularly known for the English, the quality of English within the classroom and the communication English, and you went to do the French, which effectively
Yes,
means that you would need English, improved English, and obviously a third language, foreign language, French. Don't you think it must it becomes too challenging to handle two alien language at the same time?
Yes, sir. That's why I choose French, because after choosing French, I will be able to improve my English also. And when I went to Banaras Hindu University, my professors and my classmates helped me to learn English and French both as well.
Okay, tell us something about Indo-France relation right now, and do you believe that France's experience with the pluralism there are of some use when it comes to Indian challenges?
So currently, as far as Indo-French relation is concerned, they are particularly concerned about cooperation in three sectors. First is the space sector, second is nuclear cooperation, and third one is defense cooperation. And sir, as far as pluralism is concerned, we can learn a lot about from France. So first thing is we can learn about the secularism that they practice there. So there is a complete separation of church from the state. So we can learn that from France.
Yeah, that's very well, but it is generally said that the Indian secularism is not perfect insulation of
Yes,
the religion from the polity. We actually coexist. So what exactly is this difference?
Sir, that is due to the historical circumstances that we both countries faced. It was due to the excessive interference of church during medieval age in France, that there was after the French Revolution, there was a complete separation of church from the state. Whereas in India, we see that if a state do not intervene in religion, then there are certain things such as casteism, which we cannot do away with if a state doesn't intervene in religion.
I can see that you mentioned that you like traveling and meditation.
Yes, sir.
Tell me how traveling, which is your hobby, gonna help you once you become administrator?
So first thing is I will be able to do a tour of my concerned wherever I am posted and know about the local culture and interact with the people in their local language by learning their language, learning local cuisine. These are things that will help me to interact with them and to...
Fine, thank you, sir.
Shantanu,
Yes, sir.
your optional is history.
Yes, sir.
What was the role of philosophers in French Revolution?
So French Revolution gave the revolutionaries an alternative government, because at that time in France there was a absolutist government. So French kingdom, French kings were
Actually, I am asking about what was the role of philosophers, ideologues in French Revolution.
So they gave an alternative, such as Montesquieu. There was an absolutist government, so Montesquieu gave a philosophy in his book Spirit of Laws. He gave the separation of the three organs of the government. So that was applied by the revolutionaries once they formed the government, National Assembly, and thereafter National Convention.
Only Montesquieu?
There was Rousseau and Voltaire also.
Okay.
So the Rousseau's thought was about democracy. So that was also applied in the local government that was formed during the National Convention. So Rousseau talked about local democracy at the small levels.
Okay, who
Local
gave
government.
social contract theory?
Social contract, sir, earlier it was believed that the king gets his power from the divine forces. So social contract theory says that the power is derived from the people. A king or a ruler derives his or her power from the subjects that he rules. So this is social contract theory.
Okay. Could you tell us about the evolution of nationalism in India?
Yes, sir. So initially, India was divided into two types of provinces that was ruled by British government, and there was princely states. So there was not a unified nation in India, as early nationalists talked about the nation in making. So they initially struggle to make India a nation, because India was divided into several castes on the basis of religion.
No, actually you have to trace out the origin of nationalism. Are you getting my question?
Yes, sir. So I am currently unable to recall.
Okay. Tell us three striking features of Bihar's history. One should be from ancient, one should be from medieval, and one should be from modern.
So in ancient times, sir, many great empires emerged in Bihar, such as Mauryan Empire and Gupta Empire.
Why?
Sir, there are many reasons. First, Bihar was very fertile, and the metals for iron was available nearby.
Okay, I got your answer.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
In medieval times, such as in early medieval period, Bihar was an important center for Pal art and architecture. As in modern time, sir, many important nationalist rulers started their career from Bihar, such as even Mahatma Gandhi started his career from Champaran Satyagraha.
What are your weaknesses?
So sometimes I think a lot, and sometimes I am afraid of unnecessary things.
Okay.
Shantanu.
Yes, ma'am.
You might have heard or read about King Shantanu in mythology.
Yes, ma'am.
What were his very peculiar features of that king?
So, ma'am, he married Ganga, and later on he fell from him. He has a son whose name was Bhishma Pitama, and thereafter he fell in love with Satyavati, and then he also married Satyavati.
Okay, and there is a story associated that Ganga took a promise from Shantanu not to ask. And if you were in service and somebody takes a promise like this, what will you do?
I'm not to ask.
Any questions? Do you know about this story?
No, ma'am.
You don't know about this story.
No,
Okay, leave it. So you were talking about caste discrimination and how it is a very difficult situation to eliminate. Tell me, where do we observe caste discrimination in rural India and urban India?
Ma'am, in rural areas, caste discrimination is particularly visible during marriage. So marriage mostly happens only among castes. Second is when there is we call it bhoj in gaon. So everyone likes to sit with their own fellow castemen. So these are visible in rural areas. As far as urban area is concerned, marriage is one area where casteism is visible. In urban areas, I can think only about marriage.
Okay, and untouchability?
Untouchability, ma'am, is present in rural areas, but in very, very backward areas.
Okay.
And in urban areas, I don't think untouchability is still practiced.
Very right. So what could be the solution?
Ma'am, about untouchability, removing untouchability.
No, it's illegal. Untouchability is
Yes,
illegal.
ma'am.
Removing caste discrimination.
Ma'am, I think intercaste marriage is one such thing we must promote. Second thing is interdining. So these two things will help us to irrigate casteism that is present in our society.
Very right. Have you heard word less miserables?
Yes, ma'am. It is a Play.
It's a French play.
Play. Yes, ma'am.
What it is about? Have you read about it?
Ma'am, currently I'm unable to recall.
A very famous movie was made on this play.
Ma'am, I'm unable.
And you haven't
No,
heard about it. Okay. My last question to you. Tell me, how can Bihar be developed economically?
Ma'am, first thing is we must promote tourism, especially rural tourism, which is very absent in Bihar, and Bihar is very promising in developing rural tourism.
Okay.
Second thing is developing manufacturing industries, which has been talked in the recent budget, which has been proposed by the Finance Minister of Bihar. Developing industrial clusters will also help to develop Bihar. And third is, ma'am, ethanol policy, which Bihar has adopted. And ma'am, fourth is developing human potential, because almost 52% of Biharis are young and their age is less than 25 years. So I think their potential will help Bihar. Skilling them will help Bihar to reach higher or can get higher GDP.
Very right. Thank you, Shantanu.
Thank you.
Shantanu, you're from Saharsa.
Yes, sir.
How many assembly seats are there in Saharsa?
So there are 5 assembly seats.
Can you name them?
Sir, I cannot remember all of them, but I can remember 3 of them, sir.
Okay.
Sonvarsa, Saharsa Sadar, and Mahisi.
Okay. And out of the MLAs from Saharsa, you're saying 5 of them.
Yes, sir.
Is there a women MLA?
No, sir.
None.
No.
How many women MLAs are there in Bihar Assembly?
Sir, I'm unable to recall currently.
You're unable to recall. No problem. If you look at Saharsa, can you point out what are the 3 measures you would like to take to improve the representation of women in the public life in Saharsa?
Yes, the first thing is the education among women in Saharsa is very less. Almost 47% of women in Saharsa are literate. So increasing in education in Saharsa is important. Then creating awareness among girls so that they can rise in the male-dominated society is important. Third thing, sir, is, sir, I'm unable to recall third.
Okay. Fine, last one from me. If we look at Bihar in general, it appears that there are certain areas where looking at that, it appears that Bihar can never be a sustainable state. Do you believe that, considering that there's very little revenue, there are economic issues, do you believe that idea of prohibition in such a situation was not well thought one?
So I think it was well thought, because mostly the people who used to consume liquor were from poor background, and because they used to consume a lot of liquor, they used to face severe problems, including their family. And the violence in family was also one important factor that led the government to promulgate this law. And the poor family also used to spend a lot on health expenditure. So considering health expenditure and violence, especially domestic violence, so I think that it was a good move of government.
So you're happy with that?
Yes, sir.
Do you believe that if a review is done now, it will be a positive report card for prohibition?
So I think on the implementation side, it should be a bit more stricter.
More strict.
More strict.
Rather than less, you're expecting it to be more strict.
Yes, sir, because especially in rural areas, it creates a lot of rucksack. The liquor. Domestic violence was very rampant due to the liquor problem. And villages are very quiet nowadays.
Well, fine. Nice talking to you, Shantanu. Your interview is over. You can
Thank
go
you,
now.
sir. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Take your seat.
Thank you, sir.
Shantanu, you intend to wear the same dress there, or there is something else in your mind?
Sir, coat.
Coat पहनेंगे.
Yes, sir.
ठीक है. वैसे by and large it's okay. Shoes for some reason are not going with it. So even if you intend to wear it, make sure that it is shining and all.
Yes, sir.
So
So
the basic idea is that you should look dressed for the occasion. That's the idea. I mean, you can carry the same or you can change, but the basic principle is that you should look dressed to change.
So I'm traveling throughout the day, that's why. the previous day I was also traveling.
I can understand.
sir.
I mean, it was my duty to point out. That's why I did it. So you're happy with your performance today?
No, sir,
this is
not-
going to be your first interview ever?
Yes, sir.
You're not happy. What
No,
are the
sir.
areas you're not happy about?
So my flow was very impeded. So
Okay.
I should improve my flow.
Okay.
So I was like frustrated, or
Okay.
Yes, sir.
You believe that you could be more structured?
more structured, sir, and flow must improve.
Must improve.
Yes, sir.
See, Shantanu, overall you're a very good candidate. Impression about you becomes that we're talking to a person who is one, informed, well groomed, and understand and is aware of the surroundings in general. So overall the impact is good. Coming to specific, your entry is good, your sitting posture is good, your hand movement is restricted, your voice level is good, your eye contact is not bad, and flow, you rightly said that at a few places it appears that it can be a little better. Also sometimes it appears that somebody who is, who's a French graduate in French can probably sometime use a few phrases here and there which can mark that this person is linguistically speaking is a little superior than the other candidates. Maybe you can use a phrase here and there, don't overdo it, but maybe a phrase here and there that will show the best part of you. But overall impact is that you're a good candidate. Your understanding is good, your overall handling of the questions is good. At a few places it appears probably the balance of judgment can be a little better. For example, straight away saying that a separation of church and state can be implemented as in our society is probably an extreme statement, maybe a balance of judgment. You can say that yes, we can learn a lot from that secularism, adapted to our Indian conditions, right? I mean, because in Indian condition probably it will not work that way. So that is probably the thing. Overall, I want you to show a little enthusiasm as well. Sometimes the energy level of the entire interview goes a little down. So keep it up. That is one thing. And everything else is in order actually. Your understanding of the subject, sometimes it appears you take a while in understanding the core thing of the question, and sometimes you answer the peripheral aspect of it rather than the intention of the book. For example, sir has to intervene that no, I am not asking this. I want you to, for example, he asks who gave this contract theory. You actually elicited the entire contract theory rather than giving the name first. Okay, it should have been the XYZ gave this theory. So do you want me to elaborate? And then the social contract theory should have come. You're getting the whole thing?
Yes, sir.
So that is probably an area you can improve. That is, listening can be more pointed. And also please understand that it's an interview where you're not given a lot of time. It is only 15 minutes, 12 minutes, 20 minutes time. So pointers are always helpful. 1, 2, 3. So that kind of answers are better than descriptive answers. So wherever possible, use bulleted answer, right? Other things in place, I'm sure you'll do very good.
Sir, could I ask some question?
Ji.
So first question is, should I change medium or my English?
Your English is not bad. I'm happy. I mean, I've seen candidates from Bihar, and going by that, your English is good. Don't worry about it.
Last question is, sir, I was stuttering a lot.
ऐसा तो नहीं लगा. Flow wasn't that bad. Don't worry about it. You are over focusing. Since you're a language student, probably you're overthinking about language. That's not the case. See, ultimately, what is the purpose of the language? It is that you should be able to communicate.
Yes,
that
sir.
you're doing well. Don't worry. Right? All the best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.